Hello there and welcome to the summary video of week 4 on sanitation. I hope you enjoyed the lectures and learned a lot over the course of this week. So let's just quickly go through the main learning and key takeaway messages of this week. So this week we looked at sanitation. We learned the definition of sanitation, what a sanitation system is, and its different elements. We explored sanitation products terminology and functional groups. Then we moved to excreta management in humanitarian crisis, where we presented an example of how a sanitation system can be developed over the course of a humanitarian response. Starting from the acute phase of a response, where the sphere minimal standards apply, to rehabilitation of existing infrastructure in the recovery period. Finally, we looked at which selection criteria need to be considered for choosing the best fit sanitation service and at technologies that can be best used for the task. The importance of sanitation and the effects of a lack of it were shown very impressively in the case study from Gaza. There, a wastewater treatment plant was implemented in order to treat the sewage. This case study also shows how humanitarian work in the field of sanitation often goes beyond the construction of on-site emergency latrines. This graph depicts the 5 different functional groups that make a sanitation system in order to safely use a toilet, collect, store, convey, treat, and use or dispose each sanitation product. A sanitation system is always built using technologies from these 5 different functional groups. But remember, not every system requires a technology from each functional group. This systematic thinking can help us to organize and plan the most appropriate system for a given context. During an acute humanitarian crisis, it is not always possible to implement the complete sanitation system from the beginning. We learned about the sphere minimal standards that help us to understand the minimum requirements of excreta management during an acute humanitarian crisis. The first goal is to create an environment free from human feces in order to prevent the spread of fecal-oral diseases such as diarrhea, typhus, and cholera. The second goal is to provide toilet facilities in order for all affected people to have adequate, appropriate, and acceptable toilets that are safe and secure to use. The case study from Liberia presented an example of safe containment of excreta with liquid waste that is contaminated with Ebola. There we also saw that safe sanitation goes beyond toilets and that safe conveyance and treatment are crucial. The video also displayed the key importance of community involvement and awareness raising during such an intervention. As there is no one-size-fits-all solution to sanitation and there is a high variability of different contexts, we looked at the criteria that influence the selection of the most appropriate sanitation system for a given context. For this, we need to consider the properties of the natural, built, and the enabling environment in order to make a well-informed choice. In the second part of the week, we got to know different suitable sanitation technologies for an acute humanitarian response, as well as collection and storage and treatment technologies. We saw how they work and what their advantages and disadvantages are. If you want to learn more about different sanitation technologies, I would recommend our other EAWAC online course on sanitation planning, as well as reading the Compendium of Sanitation Systems and Technologies and other literature by other institutions. You will find these links on the course page. One example of a technology in the field was seen in the case study of prisons in Rwanda. There, biogas toilets were implemented and the gas from the biogas toilets is used for cooking in the prison. If you want to learn more about sanitation in humanitarian crisis, please check out the literature mentioned on the course page. I hope you learned a lot this week and are excited to test the new knowledge in your working environment. Let's provide improved sanitation like done in the picture behind me in Ivory Coast. So if you have any questions or feedback, if you want to let us know about something, please get back to us on the forum and let us know your thoughts. Thank you very much for your attention during this week, and I hope to see you again.